First Lithium Minerals, ticker FLM on the CSE, is one of the few lithium juniors active in Chile. We're talking to CEO Robert Saltsman today to hear more about the company's projects and which goals First Lithium wants to achieve. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'd like to pleased to meet with you and your audience.
Thank you for taking the time to update our audience on First Lithium. Before we get to that, though, please give us a bit of background on yourself.
My name is Rob Saltsman. I am, as you mentioned, the founder, president, and CEO of First Lithium Minerals. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of background on myself and a little bit of background on the formation, the founding of First Lithium Minerals. For the last 20 odd years, I have been a small merchant banker. I'm an investor as well. I do various deals, anywhere ranging from real estate all the way to mining deals like the one like First Lithium, early stage. We follow the investments through the various stages of financing all the way up, and we even assist with the companies in taking them public. My role is more of the finance guy. I'm on the banking side, so I'm more of a finance guy. The way this all came about with First Lithium was back in 2016. I was personally investing in a few other different lithium companies. At that point, I started to really study the space, given the government's mandates. Everybody was hearing about all the governments saying by 2030, 2035, we're only going to have electric vehicles that are going to be allowed to be sold in our country. So I saw the opportunity, and I decided to start investing a little bit more and capitalize there. And at that point, I founded and put together First Lithium Minerals. I put my own money in. We went to some friends, family to become shareholders. And at that point, I assembled a spectacular team to complement me, all very technical, mining savvy guys. We decided that Chile was the space we wanted to be in because we felt that brine was, the type of lithium we wanted to invest in. It's the most cost-effective, and Chile also happened to have the highest grade lithium brine in the world, and so that's the area that we wanted to focus on. The team started to review opportunities north and south all throughout the country, and we're very fortunate that we ended up with staking and acquiring claims on Salars de Ollagüe, Carcot, Nascatan.
Okay, well, thank you for that introduction. So you staked the claims, and the project that came out of that, so to speak, was called, or is called, OCA, I think we should call it. And it's in the northern region of Chile, called Antofagasta. Tell us a bit more about the project's location and perhaps the geological setting, infrastructure, etc.
Okay, so first off, as you said, it's called Project OCA. OCA is really the first letter of each of the Salars, Ollagüe, Carcot, Nascatan. So it was that simple. What I want to do is start off by talking about, where the location of the project, the infrastructure. It is actually in a spectacular location. The project is 2.5 hours from a city called Calama. Calama is a major, Calama's a city, and it's a major center of mining activity in Chile. In fact, literally right next to Calama is the world's largest open pit copper mine called Chiquicamata. So because of all that, there's an airport where you can fly into. From there, what happens is we will get into our car. We then drive. It's a paved highway drive the whole way from Calama to the community, the town of Ollagüe. It's about a 2.5 hour drive, again, all paved highway. Along this highway, you're able to see power lines. There's power lines that go all the way from the city of Calama to the town of Oyawe. It should also be noted that the country's largest geothermal power plant, the Cerro Pabellón power plant, is actually 70 kilometers south of Ascatan, which is our most southern salar. So we have got access to power that is spectacular. I mentioned the paved roads. There's one other mode of transportation. There is a major railroad called the Ferrocarril de Antofagasta, Bolivia, and that railroad runs from La Paz, Bolivia, and it actually crosses the border into Chile. And right there in the town of Oyawe, there's an actual depot where this train stops as well. The train then continues on and it passes by all three salars, Oyawe, Carcot, Ascatan, and actually heads to the port of Antofagasta. So you've got spectacular access directly to the ports as well. Regarding the geological setting, which is the second part of your question, OCA's project is located in between two large mountain ranges. These mountain ranges go north and south, and in between the two mountain ranges, you have what is formed, what is known as the Loa River Basin. Then between the two mountain ranges, the two large mountain ranges, heading southwest going northeast, is a smaller mountain range. And that smaller mountain range actually separates Oyawe and Carcot from Ascatan. But they're all still within the Loa River Basin. There is 10 volcanoes in the area, which provide spectacular geothermal activity as well.
Great. Well, thank you. That's a good overview there. Then let's see what you did at the project, where you're at with OCA so far. I think if we go back a bit, it was in March of this year that First Lithium conducted a magnetotelluric geophysical survey at the project, or rather several surveys. What was the aim of that, and what did those surveys or this survey tell you?
Okay, correct. We did magnetotelluric. However, let me step back and give you a little bit more history on why we did the magnetotelluric, which is also known as MT. It was actually this time last year, last November, we did our first geophysical survey on the salars. We did transient electromagnetic, which is TEM, known as TEM. We were extremely pleased with the results, which is why we ended up going back on the salar to do MT. The TEM showed signatures, conductive zones beneath the surface of less than 1 ohm meter. So those were great results. However, it was open at depth. What do I mean by that? We could not see the bottom. It did not allow us to see it. So we decided to go back on the salar to do magnetotelluric MT because MT actually goes down kilometers. What the MT did tell us is that somewhere beneath the surface, beginning around 50 to 100 meters below the surface, we encountered the same conductivity signatures, less than 1 ohm meter. However, at around 400 to 500 meters below the surface, we finally encountered the base. So we encountered the bottom at that point. That's what we were looking to find, the size of the salar, the depth.
Okay. So what's the next step? The next step then was going back again later, do some geochemical surface sampling. I think the results were announced in September. Tell us about that and what that, again, what that told you about the project and what that meant for the company and the project.
Okay, so back in September, we did announce further 15 geochemical samples that we took on the salar. What we did was we actually zeroed in and focused in the area that we're actually intending on doing our drilling. So it was a more focused program. What we did was we sent our geologist out, and what he did was he took samples that were not brine samples at depth. Rather, these were surface brine samples and surface brine and brackish water samples, again, taken at the surface. What our geologist did was he went out to the area, he dug a small hole, maybe 30 centimeters deep. He let the surface brine and brackish water accumulate in this hole, at which point he would take the samples and then bring them to the lab for assay. The reason that this was done is it's all about minimizing risk for the upcoming drilling campaign. This is a cost-effective way of, and it still provides results. It's a cost-effective way of seeing if there is lithium in the salar. We were very happy. The results were spectacular, and it provided an indication that the salar is in fact pregnant with lithium. The results of the 15 samples ranged anywhere from 43 milligrams per liter lithium to as high as 78 milligrams per liter lithium. And again, this was all about providing another confirmation or indication that there is lithium on the salars. And I'm repeating, these were not brine samples taken at depth. It was all done at surface.
Okay, so that means probably if you take a look at what's happening around you, that if you took brine samples at depth or if you go deeper, then the probability is there that the grades are getting higher.
Correct. In the classic hydrogeological settings of brine deposits in whether it be Chile, Argentina, or Bolivia, the lithium triangle, lithium grades will increase at depth, and our team expects nothing to be different.
Okay. And so your next step is going to be to confirm that by going to start drilling, as you alluded to just earlier. What kind of boxes do you have to tick before you can go out and start the drills turning?
Okay, you're correct. So the next phase for the company would actually be drilling. There is I look at it as about 4 boxes that need to be ticked in order to be able to get on the salar and do the drilling. The first box would be community approval. If you do not have the local community approval, you're not drilling. Okay, so it's very important. That's one of the most important things. Now, the good news about our company is we began our community relations going back to 2018. Our geologist has been in contact with the community. We met them going back a number of years. We've been, in contact with the community, and frankly, we already have community buy-in. They're on side with what we're doing. I was in Chile. I think you're aware of this. I was in Chile about 3 weeks back. And when I was there, I had the opportunity to actually go and visit the community. I was able to meet with the community leader and his council. At the meeting, we discussed a whole number of different things. We discussed the upcoming drilling program. We talked about the need to be clear and offer full transparency with them about everything that's going on. We wanted to be very engaging with them and let them know everything that we're doing, and also find out how they can assist us in anything that we might need, things like accommodations, food and accommodations for the crew. And we also discussed other things like long-term engagement, with the local community. So the community is on side, and we're very pleased with, our relationship with them. The next box would be the environmental permits. The environmental permit, is the second box. We've applied for the permits. I'll be honest with you, it is completely in the hands of the government. I could receive my permit tomorrow. I could be waiting another 30, 60 days. We're expecting it any time now, because it's been applied for, longer than a month ago. But we're still in the waiting mode. The other thing that we need to do is receive our drilling permit. And again, that is once again relatively straightforward. There's not much to say about that. It's an application. So that's just one of the boxes that needs to be ticked. And then the last box is making sure that you've engaged your drilling contractor. We've spent a lot of time interviewing various contractors, finding out their expertise, finding out their experience, on drilling on salars. Just because you're a drilling contractor does not mean that you've got experience on drilling salars versus drilling, into regular hard rock, throughout the rest of the country. So those are the main boxes, and we've spent a lot of time working on them.
So investors can expect that it's going to get very interesting pretty soon, hopefully, depending on when you're receiving all the permits, of course.
Correct.
Okay, so let's take a step back and talk a bit about the environment or regulatory environment or climate for exploration companies or foreign exploration companies in Chile. Is it usual that small companies like First Lithium are able to work there? In the copper space, you almost only hear about the giants working on the big mines. What is the government stance towards companies like yours working in Chile?
Actually, it's a good question, because there's been a lot of questions specifically related to lithium, which I'll mention. There are quite a few junior companies in Chile, and they are looking for all sorts of metals. Chile has been a very established mining jurisdiction for decades, not just recently. Chile has mining for copper, obviously lithium, gold. All of that is being prospected, explored. Even some small miners, some small producers are out there. Chile has rule of law and has actually got a very sophisticated mining code and is a great place to do business. Specifically related to lithium, this past spring, the government came out with an announcement. They announced a new lithium strategy. However, the rules still need to be announced. Final rules need to be announced and finalized. We do know that the government wants to do something surrounding a public-private partnership. Summary is that the government is looking to develop lithium resources in Chile. And frankly, we're very encouraged by this.
Okay. Well, that sounds good, and I think that, as you said, that's a question that's come up because the final regulations are not in, but we're going to see how that goes. Now we've been talking about Chile the whole time, and as you said, it's a brine project. In the meantime, though, First Lithium acquired a second leg to stand on, a second project in Ontario. Please briefly tell us about that. What are your plans for this project?
Okay, correct. We actually did this past summer acquire another project, another prospect is what I'll refer to it as, in Ontario. However, let me be clear. Our flagship project is actually Chile still. So we are focused primarily on Chile. The reason that we acquired the Ontario project is we came across some very compelling data with historical drill results. And these drill results showed intercepts of pegmatites. One hole, for example, showed 100 feet intercept of pegmatites. There was also historical geochemical results that showed elevated lithium grades in sediments. So this was compelling specifically for that exact prospect. Ontario, as a province, is now beginning to show an interest in developing lithium projects. The Ontario government is looking to create infrastructure for processing lithium. And this opportunity with the Ontario government creates interesting opportunities for us in Ontario. as well. Specifically regarding our Ontario prospect, our plans are to actually begin doing exploration work next spring, summer. We're going into the winter right now. It does not make sense for us to get out there and fight the elements of Ontario during the winter time. So we're going to work on this when the snow melts and we can get to the prospect and actually do some exploration work. And as I said, we're going to focus for now in Chile.
Well, that about wraps it up for now, but could you perhaps condense into 60 odd seconds why should investors take a closer look at First Lithium Minerals at this point in time?
Yeah, of course. It's a very simple answer. We are almost drill ready. That's your basic answer. This is the most exciting time for any mining exploration company. It's the best time to invest when you're about to go into your drilling mode. We've done all of the geophysics work, all the geochemical work. We've delineated our drill targets. All that has actually been done. And now it's a matter of literally just drilling. So that's the main reason. Other things to look at is we have a very clean share structure. There's 91 million shares outstanding, virtually no warrants. The only warrants we have outstanding are about 900,000 warrants that were broker warrants for when we went public last year. They're at 25 cents, so there's no material overhang. We have a clean balance sheet. There's no debt. The clean structure as well. There's no preferreds outstanding, no convertibles. This is a great opportunity to be looking at First Lithium today. The other thing I would probably tell your readers is to maybe visit the website, www.firstlithium.ca, as in Canada, not .com, firstlithium.ca. Most of the information, whatever we haven't talked about, will be on the website as well.
Okay, that's always a good idea to go check for yourself. I would encourage people also, if they want some information in German, as we're sending this out to our German audience too, to come to our website goldinvest.de, where we have some information gathered on First Lithium Minerals too. So thank you, Rob, again for taking the time. I think this is a good starting point for investors who want to know more about First Lithium Minerals. And once the drilling has started and there's some more news, we'll be sure to check in again and do another update interview. Thank you.